Was Veer Das genuinely the one of the first in India to start this? I saw his I heard his recent interview on this Good Ones ke naam se. There's this podcast where he was talking about the recent specials he's doing, थोड़े controversial type जो वो पंगे ले
Hmm.
रहा है. And he's like, he was inspired and then he went after acting school or something. But you mentioned him here. So I'm wondering how big of an influence was Veer Das in pushing the scene.
I think Veerdas is so he's not the first guy to do stand up in
Right,
India.
right, right.
Before Veerdas, Johnny Lever, and there had been a culture of stand up even in Maharashtra. Like the folklore people, storytellers were really
Hmm.
popular, and they would do something very similar to stand up, right? They
Acha.
would do hour long shows which are just funny. So, and Johnny Lever then did something more closer to urbanized form of stand up, which is stand on a stage and do bits.
Yeah.
But Veerdas brought in this Western etiquette. Like it's not completely Veerdas, but I think a lot of things intersected at once.
Right.
The comedy store came from London to Bombay. They wanted to start a club. Around the same time, Veerdas has also come down. He had started doing his stores. He had started doing open mics. So having a comedy club along with a popular artist who's a Bollywood guy who's doing live shows and bringing this culture in. So I think one of one of the credits that he deserves is to bring this cadence of stand up as we know
Hmm.
it in
Hmm.
India, and
Hmm.
making
Hmm.
it, setting the system, like educated everyone that you do an open mic, you build a set, then you do an hour, then you do a club, then you do a
Right.
weekend, to
Right.
set that etiquette, set that cadence.
Okay.
I think that's very important.
Yeah. Yeah. And how do you get into this in 2015?
I
How old were
was
you in 2015?
I was 18.
Okay.
So I was 18 and I was just about to graduate my school, right? High school. I was in 12th standard. I was
Yeah.
giving my board exams,
Yeah.
and I had seen Russell Peters. That was my exposure to
Yeah.
stand up. And uh, I was just so fascinated. I think I would not comment on everyone, but narcissism has been a thing, right? Like that's why we do what we do. It's just
Yeah.
सब attention मुझे चाहिए. I am the spotlight, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see, most artists have the weirdest lighting in their room. Like you are an artist, you'll have some peculiar lighting
Yep.
because artists are narcissistic that way.
Yeah.
So that has always been there, and I I was always into extempores in school and debating and always trying to win with wit kind of guy,
Hmm.
because sports nothing,
Right.
right? Looks not
Yeah.
the best, not a lot of money to
Hmm.
just brag. So wit comes in handy and you can put people down. So that was always a thing. And then they see Russell Peters, the
Hmm.
most average looking, the most mediocre looking guy,
Yeah.
to be able to own a room
Yeah.
full of
Yeah.
audience
Yeah.
was so fascinating. So I saw him and then I stalked. Luckily, I had access to the internet, so I just searched stand-up comedy India, and it showed me the scene that was happening in Bombay. I could see that, uh, at that point of time, Tanmay Bhatt, Rohan Joshi, all these guys were just starting out. This was 2014,
Hmm.
2013. They were
Hmm.
doing shows and open mics, but nothing was online. I saw in Ahmedabad there was one open mic, and even at that open mic, you had to write a script. Right, you have to literally write a 2-minute stand-up script, which is the most awkward thing to read. If you write just a stand-up script on
Yeah.
doc, you
Yeah.
you can't write punchlines like that, right?
Removes all the humor from the whole
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like an essay.
Yeah.
So I wrote the worst, most stereotypical, I would say racist at times script as an 18-year-old, filled with expletives, and I sent it to them. This is in the middle of my board exams. Lied to my parents that I'm going to a friend's place to study.
Of course.
Went to the open mic, did
Yeah.
the open mic, and my jokes were not funny at all. But I was 18, so I had that innocence, right?
Hmm.
That innocence you have before you realize that life is just sadness all the time. That
Yeah.
innocence
Yeah.
I had. And with that innocence, I was saying all these political things which were really controversial on stage, and that's what made people laugh.
Hmm.
And I liked that. So that's how it started. Once I got into it, then we just started talking to cafe owners, started doing open mics of our own in different cafes, coffee shops, photo studios, whatnot. And then over a period of time, here we are with a day
Yeah.
job and stand up as a hobby.